Right, fans, this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and it is early morning for me in the US of A, Central Time. It is 7:33, and let's talk about Luis King Kong Ortiz as he is defeated his third time by his second opponent in his career. We know the rumors surrounding Luis Ortiz about his age, and that's what we want to talk about, okay? And this is very important because a lot of things are inevitable. And Ortiz and his company and his management team and everybody around him had belief in his ability, his skill, his will, and his ferociousness. But Father Time has other plans. Ray, he is the Father Time's grandfather. Crazy, man, crazy. St. John, definitely the end of the road, Kurt. Hey, I wouldn't argue with that. Unfortunately, though, he doesn't see it that way. And a lot of fighters, and that's what I worry about with fighters. I don't think they're under good counsel. I looked at his family. I saw how they looked, kids crying and shit like that. It wasn't cool. I didn't like that idea. I didn't like him and his family going through that. And it's so crazy because you go back in time and you see any fighter that was here, and then they slowly start to diminish. And Ortiz is probably here. Now, 4 years ago, Andy Ruiz would have probably just been another opponent for Ortiz. Ortiz didn't get the best out of his career. No, he didn't. And it's sad. And see, I don't think Ortiz got the best of his career because he was put on ice for another guy that I feel that didn't get the best of his career. The only good thing about Wilder, though, because that's who I was referring to, Wilder's not done yet. You know, Ortiz is done. The man is 43 years old on paper. Okay, he's 3 years older than Chris Arreola, or 2, because I think Chris Arreola is 41 now. And it's over for him. We've seen him in the Charles Martin fight. The Charles Martin fight was a wake-up call for anybody that knew or knows how a fighter diminishes, okay? Everybody was successful at aging Ortiz out. Grow God, counterpunch to you. Everybody knew that. 4 years ago, Wilder, his first and only true test was against Ortiz, because they know this is a guy that has the Cuban pedigree, that has the aggression, that has the skill, because you can't say he's not skilled. He knows what he's doing. But at that time, when he fought Deontay Wilder, he was 39. In fact, he was 38 turning 39, because in 2018, he would have been, I think his birthday is in March on like the 27th, 28th. I could be wrong, the dates on that, but I know it's later in the year. And he was he was almost 39 when they fought, okay? Now, Wilder, of course, 4 years ago, he was in his early 30s. So he was fresh, you know, he was knocking out bums, fucking his hand up and all that, breaking his hand on bum's face, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. But Ortiz was still a good fighter, but people saw that he was starting to diminish. They saw he wasn't this fresh, bulky fighter. Because a lot of people should understand, if you go back and you watch Luis Ortiz in probably 2016, 2015, he was a totally different fighter. He looked different. He looked like a guy that was in his late 30s then. but he looked a lot sharper, you know, and I think that he dedicates that to like not drinking and smoking and stuff like that, because I think a lot of those Cuban fighters are gym rats by nature. You know, I think they are, you know, they live in the gym. If you guys haven't seen Sons of Cuba, I suggest you watch it. It's definitely a good documentary. And they eat, sleep, piss boxing, you know, and then they go home for a while. They take a couple weeks off and they come back. Sir Oku, who aged out Ortiz? The question is, who didn't age out Ortiz? Now, you could say, oh, he was old anyway, but the older he gets, the better chance of beating him, and he's at the end of his road. So if you can agree that he's at the end of his road, aging out process and choosing him to fight him, that's the plan. You know, nothing's better on your resume as a guy that used to be a badass. God of War, what's up, brother? Counterpunched to you. I know it was a few hours ago. It was a good fight, though. And with all the jokes and all the pop culture behind Luis Ortiz, he did well. I mean, I thought in the second round when he got clubbed, I'm like, Ruiz should have got him out of there. And I think Ortiz caught him with something that woke, or like Ruiz got hit hard. That mother sucker got a chin on him, bro. He got a chin. Ortiz could have had a great career if he was managed better. It's a shame. As Skip, now I will say this about Ortiz. It's not like, though, I want people to understand, it's not like he didn't seek other options. It wasn't like he was with Al Heyman and Al Heyman kind of drug him along. That's not how his career went. Because once upon a time, he was with Eddie Hearn, with Matchroom. And Eddie Hearn does exactly what he does with a lot of fighters across the pond. He sees what they're about and he drops them. Now, that's another question that you need to ask yourself about Eddie Hearn, you know, and his bias towards American fighters. Yes, he has American fighters, or he had American fighters, but for some reason, like Michael Hunter. Michael Hunter was one. There's several others. There are a couple British fighters, but I'm talking about the fighters over here. Luis Ortiz was with Eddie Hearn. He beat Dave Allen, and he beat Malik Scott. And his reason for that was, for dropping him, oh, he wasn't a draw. He wasn't this, he wasn't that. You know, please give me an example of fighters who refuse to fight him. Sir Oku, cool. Let me take your ass to school real quick. Andy Ruiz, he didn't want to fight him in 2020. So in 2020, that would have made Ortiz 41. He didn't want to fight Andy. He didn't want to fight Ortiz when he was 41 years of age. Check the receipts, bro. Check the receipts. He didn't want that at that time. He didn't. He didn't want that. He didn't fancy that fight, like you guys say. He didn't. He didn't want that fight at all. And he had no reason. He just said, I'm not ready. So he just straight bitched out of that fight. That's one. Two, Joyce. Yeah. When Joe Joyce was trained by Abel Sanchez himself shut that down. And what was his words? His words were, Joe Joyce is not ready for that type of fight. He's not ready at his level. Facts. So you got two high-level guys that are high-ranking now, and they refuse the Ortiz fight. Okay? The Dillian White situation, it's kind of up in the air because, you know, I think there was a lot of stuff that went on with Dillian White and Ortiz. And I think Dillian White did offer him some sort of fight, you know, but I think Ortiz at that time had already opted. But it was weird with Ortiz anyway, and I blame his management for that. I really don't blame him because he's just a fighter. If you, even when you look at the interviews with Ortiz in it, Ortiz is that guy that just kind of, he talks very, very little. He talks very, very little. And he's not that type of guy to really self-promote himself. So I don't think he really has a voice as far as that goes. I think he relies on his team to speak for him. Herman Calcedo is a guy that mostly speaks, and he's the voice of Luis Ortiz. But yeah, those are perfect examples right there. Andy Ruiz, Joe Joyce, they did not want that shit at all. Ruiz has been ducking Ortiz for years. It was only when Ortiz looked bad against Martin, then Ruiz decided to fight him. Listen, Ruiz ducked him last year. That bullshit knee surgery or injury or whatever it was, that was all bullshit. Trust me. It was bullshit because there is no knee surgery that you have that requires you or allows you a week later to be doing squats. There is no fucking surgery like that. And that was his reasoning. I have to have surgery on my knee. That's why I can't take the fight. Yeah. And the thing is, and here's the funny thing. If Ortiz looked that bad in January of this year, what makes you think he wouldn't have looked that bad in October of last year? The point is, Andy didn't want to take the challenge. He didn't want to take the challenge. You know, Eddie wants high profile. Eddie wants something that's sellable and marketable and makes money. That's what Eddie wants. You know, and somebody like Luis Ortiz would fuck everything up. Ortiz could have been 4 or 5 years ago the equivalent of what Ortiz or Usyk did lately. Usyk fucked the money up. Let's just be real. I mean, Usyk made a high amount of money for what he done. You know, and that's great. That's wonderful. He can help his family. He can help people around him, his people, his country. I get it. But as far as the money went, that money's gone in smoke as of right now. That money's on hold, pending termination. You know, he did very well, and Wilder told him to keep his head up. Yeah, Jason Smart. Yeah, for his age. But I mean, dude, if you look at old fights of Ortiz, that motherfucker used to bounce around. And even at how many years old he is, he still had better footwork than Andy. Andy was a plodding fighter, had good upper body movement, fast hands. But dude, I swear, he like somebody put his fucking feet in cement, right? And told him to wait in those 2 buckets for 2 hours until that cement dried, you know? I'm a Wilder fan, still support the channel. Counterpunch to you. That's good. I support Wilder as well. Austral atmosphere. Let me break a little something to you. Let me give you a little cheat sheet in case you don't know. I support Deontay Wilder. If I buy his fights, I buy his merch, I promote his fights. That's what you do if you're a legitimate, non-biased boxing channel. That's what you do. So I don't want people to think, oh, you don't support Deontay Wilder. Look, just because I have certain views of Wilder don't mean I don't support him. I just think I'm not like other channels that I'm not going to do that, because if I see something that he's done, that he did, that he's doing, I'm going to call him out on it. Good and bad. Yin and yang. Counterpunch. Thanks, Kurt, for examples, but Joyce was still a green fighter at the time. Bro, do you understand how old Joe Joyce is right now? Joyce is older than Usyk, White, Fury, Joshua, Dubois. He's older than all of those guys. So to call him green, no. I just think his career, he didn't have enough fights at the time. But to call him green, he has to be a late bloomer then, if you think that. Because Joe Joyce is damn near 37 years old. If he's not 37 or 30, I know he's 36. So he'll be 37 this year or next year. He's like Wilder's age or older than Wilder. Joyce will knock out Ruiz. Aaron, if Ruiz can't stop him, that would eventually happen because, see, Joyce won't let up. And I'm not saying that because of Luis Ortiz, because I don't do fighters like that. But what I can see from Andy, he doesn't have enough movement to get out of the way of somebody that does fight small. And I also understood and noticed something about Andy Ruiz. It's either Ortiz has some heavy ass hands or he has some very, very, very thin skin. Okay, his skin is thin, bro. Very, very, very thin. Because at the end of the second round, going into the third, he already had like a big ass red whelp on the right side of his face from a left from Ortiz. So imagine somebody with heavy hands like Joe Joyce constantly punching him with those consistent, slow, well, what's the word for Joyce's punches? Stubborn jabs of his. Bro, no. He's going to be busted up by round 7. And Joyce will just get started. Ortiz could have retired for the AJ payday, should have took it. Bobby B, he should have. But everybody makes mistakes, just like Wilder should have took the Joshua fight before fighting fucking Fury. Fury should have been at the end of the road for Wilder, not at the beginning. Ortiz should have fought top guys sooner, you're right. Yeah, but understand, he was the equivalent of Erislandy Lara, but in a higher weight class. Nobody didn't want that smoke. A lot of people didn't want that smoke. And then when they offered Ortiz to fight, take for example, because we got to keep it real, okay? Eddie Hearn offered Ortiz, Team Ortiz, like a $4 or $5 million fight. Now, what is it? Jim Jimenez, right? His manager took the social media out of nowhere and said, "Oh yeah, they're pricing themselves out. They lowballed us." Yeah, that's what it is. They lowballed us. And sorry guys, the fight's not happening. But this is what happened. Eddie Hearn gets pissed off. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I understand you feeling a certain type of way about somebody lying on you. But this is boxing, the sport that I love, that I hate so much. I want to say you guys feel the same way I feel. And how many times have somebody been lied on in the sport of boxing? How many times have something has been said about someone and it's not true? This is boxing. People lie all the time. Promoters lie, managers lie, boxers lie. So we know that. So my question is, why did Eddie get that pissed off about that particular situation? Where Derek Chisora told Eddie to fuck off because I want more money, and he left. And then you revisited Derek Chisora though, and it's almost like, okay, wait a minute. Because that was the Dillian Whyte situation. The Dillian Whyte situation and the Anthony Joshua situation, he was more or less tolerant to Luis Ortiz or Team Ortiz. And my only question was why? You know, it was like, well, you went back to Derek Chisora in favor or on the behalf of Dillian Whyte, but then Luis Ortiz comes out and says, hey, I didn't know anything about Jim Jimenez doing anything else, but I did question Luis Ortiz for not firing fucking Jim. He should have fired him. You know, but it was a lot of things that Luis Ortiz didn't understand about his own team, which maybe he wasn't, I'm not going to call him dumb because I don't want to do that. I don't want him to punch me in the face one day and I run into him, but I don't think he had the intelligence or the business mind to understand what he needed to do with his team that did him that way. But also, Eddie shouldn't have blew a gasket like he did based on a lie. Because people lie all the time. Usyk is reaping the benefits of not ducking AJ. Absolutely. Usyk, you know what? Usyk would have still been waiting around and probably fighting Joe Joyce and beating him again, wearing himself out, and another fighter that may or may not be affected by father time. Okay? Father time is very important. Okay? It's very, very important because that's the longevity of a fighter. You're only good as father time allows you to be. I don't care how much you train. I don't care about any of that shit. In fact, the conditioning of a boxer, it actually breaks your body down. You know, fighting shape and being in quote unquote shape is two different things. You know, that shit deals with weightlifting, strength and conditioning. Yeah, you can do that. That helps you in the long run, but too much of that is not recommended to stay in healthy shape for your overall longevity as a person. That's to condition yourself for a particular event or day or time. Okay? Staying in shape is like something I'm doing right now, walking. Look at that. I probably walked maybe a mile. Jogging, running, CrossFit, all that shit is really, it's cool, but at what level? You know, you have to know what works for your body. That's why athletes are athletes. Ortiz is older than Cole. There we go. See? How do you think the Wilder versus Ruiz fight goes? I can see that fight, and I've already predicted this fight years ago when Ruiz upset Joshua. I knew then, just sizing those fighters up, that Wilder would decapitate Ruiz. Ruiz would be another Dominic Breazeale because we know Dominic Breazeale had a pretty decent chin. Well, I don't think it was better than Ruiz's, to be fair, but Ruiz got hit with one of the best left hooks and he got up from it and he changed history of the heavyweight format. Okay. So, I feel that he has some he had a very, very good chin, but I don't think it can stand up to Wilder's right hand. I don't. Fun fact, Ortiz was Jack Johnson's main sparring partner. See, there's more of it. The Brotherhood Sports. Did people clown Foreman for being old? Pacquiao. Yeah, they did, but see, understand. Foreman had, you know, those are different fighters, but Foreman had two different careers. He had his, like, quote unquote Deontay Wilder career, where he in fact was just the boogeyman. He stopped, mopped, beat a lot of fighters, Ken Norton, Joe Frazier. Those dudes are iconic legends. And George Foreman, a young George Foreman, destroyed those guys. And, you know, Ken Norton broke Muhammad Ali's jaw, but could he do that to Foreman, though? No. Okay? And then he was defeated by Muhammad Ali. I think that set him back a minute because this next fight he lost. And then he retires for maybe 10, 15 years. Then he comes back. Okay? And then he makes history. He becomes the oldest heavyweight in the history of the world. Just like Mike Tyson is the youngest heavyweight champion in the history of the world. But he had a break, and I think he needed that break. That's why, guys, when this war is over with the Ukraine and Russia, I hope it gets over quickly, but I am so eager to see what Vladimir Klitschko does, because one thing I believe is that time, sometimes, based on what I just explained to you about conditioning versus overall well-being, I do feel that time away from the boxing platform will help you. Okay? It's not healthy to do that shit all the time. Training camp is not normal. Okay, that's not a normal standard protocol of staying healthy. Staying healthy is doing exactly what I'm doing right now, or not now, but what I was doing. Walking, helping the cardio, taking care of your joints as you get older. That's what it's about. And so that's why I'm looking at Vlad. I think Vlad is planning something. He does a lot of different things, swimming, boat paddling, or waterboarding, rather. A lot of things. And he's just an overall athletic guy. And I think what he learned from the loss to Fury versus the loss to Anthony Joshua, I think he learned that time away from boxing is good. It gave him time to heal. And George Foreman, I think, learned that too. He had a lot of good fights in the 90s. Shannon Briggs, I think he beat Shannon Briggs. Shannon the Cannon. Let's go, champ. I think he beat Shannon. But I think they robbed Foreman because Foreman was older and they knew they can't market an older fighter. That may be the reason for Eddie Hearn dropping Ortiz. How the hell are you going to drop an undefeated fighter? Oh, because he doesn't speak English? Well, you knew that shit before you signed him. Counterpunch. Kurt always keeps it 100. Absolutely. You tell it the way it is. You see it, Kurt. Kudos to you. That's how I see it. I mean, I don't have a pony in anybody's show. If anybody knows about me, if you're an American fighter, British fighter, Australian fighter, Cuban fighter, Puerto Rican fighter, Mexican fighter, they really don't mean anything to me. I just see things the way I see it based on an unbiased point of view. Ortiz is old. We know he was old. I mean, his career was green at the time. Okay. I hear you. But choices and sacrifices are the reason that make fighters fighters. And they did not want to take that challenge. Andy got shell-shocked when Ruiz counterpunched him, which shows Ruiz was still apprehensive from getting knocked down, especially after his fellow Mexican dropped him. Yeah, but, it's crazy. And I think the weight, though, bothered Andy, though. He was trying to be somebody that his ass wasn't. He's an obese, fat-ass, bad-built fighter that has fast hands and has a good chin at his normal weight. His normal weight is fat. That's Andy Ruiz's normal weight. He's fat, bro. And the fat gives him power. El gordo es por él. Joshua wasted time playing rugby. Joyce, I know. Joyce did other shit. He was like in Shaolin temples. He spent a lot of time training martial arts, but that was him. He is 1 month older than Wilder. Karma, thank you. BK, Ortiz's fights with a Wing and a Wong. Bobby B, no, his former trainer said to add about 10 years. Damn. Yes, Joyce is 37 soon on the 19th. Exactly. I knew his ass was turning 37. Bro, that motherfucker was born in 1985. If you were born in 85, you are turning 37 this year. Sometime this year. If you're not turning 37, you wasn't born in 1985. Josh should fight him next. Makes all the sense. Josh should fight who next? No. Joshua should not fight Luis Ortiz at all. Because that's going to look like a bad sign. Ruiz already cherry-picked him because he knew he looked awful. He knew he looked vulnerable, like a wounded old-ass warrior. So why would Joshua now come and fight him? No, that fight and that ship has sailed. Sorry. He could hire Ortiz as a left-handed sparring partner, but for what reason, I don't know. Are you from San Antonio? No. Wilder thought Fury was an easy fight. Little did he know. Well, look, at least it was 4 years ago, over 4 years ago. So credit to Wilder, at least that fight happened then. And remember, though, to defense of Wilder, we have to remember that Wilder was in play to fight Povetkin, which is a former WBA heavyweight champion. Okay, so the fight just didn't end it didn't, the drugs, and it was a bunch of dirty messy shit behind that. So uh Povetkin was truly the first real legitimate former champion that Wilder could have faced. And I'm not going to say should have, but could have. When Sanchez said that about Ortiz, Joyce was still a prospect and only had 6 pro fights. Joyce was fighting 8-rounders then. God of War. Here's the problem, though. That motherfucker only got 12, 13 fights now. Henry, morning, guys. Have a safe Labor Day. Henry, happy Labor Day to you. Let's eat a lot of barbecue, drink beer, and be merry on today. And it's kind of chilly. It's a beautiful day, bro. I'm glad it's September. I'm so glad the summer is over. Ortiz versus Chisora needs to happen. Peter Hill, I could go for that. I could really go for that. Like, that would be a good fight. I would promote that fight to the Dickens. Ortiz and Chisora. Because to me, it's not about the bigger, the best. It's about who wants to test. Bars. That's what it's about. And if Ortiz wants to test Chisora, let's do it. But here's the thing about Chisora. Chisora is all about the money, man. What about the money? Fighting Ortiz, this fucking guy. I'm not fighting him for fucking $1 million, man. At least Fury is honest about his dishonesty. He's a contradiction. Yeah. Shout out to Tyson Fury, man. Tyson Fury did a recent interview, I think it was yesterday, or maybe a day and a half ago. And he did say, like, look, I don't judge Joshua for the shit he said, because I've said all types of shit in my day. I don't judge people for what they said, because I've said it all. And you got to respect that, because he has. So, you know, one thing to be a liar, but it's a worse thing to be a fucking hypocrite. You know what I mean? What I've learned about this year, I would rather lie to somebody than be a hypocrite about it. You know, pretend to do something or to be someone or to lie on your character versus just telling a lie, right? And Tyson is just like, yo, I'm not going to talk about him like that. You know, and then like Tyson shows you, regardless of the shit he says a lot of times and the different, you know, degrees of Tyson Fury shows you that, like, look, people make mistakes, people fuck up, people rise, people fall. He may talk more shit than George Bush and Jesse Jackson, but he keeps it real, and at times he wants to let you know how he really feels. Bars. Kurt, what do you think about Fury trying to set up a fight with Char? Bullshit. Cartman, Usyk will get beat by Fury as well. We got to see. Ortiz looks like Jim Brown in Running Man in that thumbnail. He looks old, bro. Sir Oku. He does look like Jim Brown. You're all right. Word of the day. Counterpunch to you. Ortiz was the last straw that broke the camel's back on Eddie Hearn. I think so much was going on at that time that he got frustrated with not being able to make things happen in the U.S. Sports can break your body down. You're absolutely right. You look at any athlete that's 40 or 50, them motherfuckers' knees are shot. That's why I don't do squats with a lot of heavy weights no more. I do squats because I love leg work, and legs promote higher testosterone growth, right? It releases the testosterone in your body. So if you want to up your testosterone, start doing squats. But don't put big weights on your shoulders and try to squat down. Your natural weight is good enough. That's natural, not weights amongst that. So if anybody needs any kind of health tip, when you do squats, don't be a fucking idiot. Don't do what you see some idiot do that's probably jacked up on testosterone or whatever he's on and try to squat down with 50 or 100 pounds. That's bullshit. Use your own body weight, people, and that'll be good enough for you. You know? And if you're a big guy and your legs are hurting for you doing natural squats, that means you need to lose weight because your legs can't naturally support something that is naturally not what it's supposed to be. Okay? So that's the best thing I can give you health-wise as far as your legs go. Squats are great. Just do them naturally. You got to make your name young to make the money from enough big fights. Well, timing is very important. And Ortiz, unfortunately, his timing was bad. He was too good to be marketed Because see, if Ortiz was a shitty fighter, he would have been fed to Joshua a long time ago when he was with Matchroom. Joshua would have been Ortiz if he was a shit fighter. He would have been on Anthony Joshua's fucking resume a long time ago. Listen to what I'm telling you. And it was like, well, what do you mean? I just said that. It wouldn't have been Dave Allen and Malik Scott. It would have been Dave Allen and Anthony Joshua. You know, so Eddie Hearn is no idiot. He's not going to match Anthony Joshua with someone like Ortiz because that would probably fuck up everything. Okay? And he knew it. He's like, because there would be no reason, there was no reason that he couldn't have made that fight. Ortiz was signed with Matchroom. Joshua signed with Matchroom. You know, but they knew, no, we're not doing that. We're not taking this fucking Cuban that might be 41 years old, right? And putting up against our young, fresh promoter's dream. We're not going to do that. It makes no sense promotional wise because Joshua could get hurt. He's not good with southpaws, as he admitted, as you can see. Look at the old Alexander Usyk fight. He said it himself. If Usyk was an orthodox fighter, I would fucking mop him. There you go. So, look, Eddie's not dumb. And he got rid of fucking Ortiz because of that reason. Like, let's get rid of this fucking guy before he does something fucked up or before people start talking about the possibility of him fighting the guy that I'm trying to raise to be this next superstar, which he did. So good for Eddie Hearn, but he kept his ass far away from Ortiz. So Ortiz was too good to be any good. Right? Because again, if he was a shitty fighter, if he had a lot of holes in his defense, if he showed vulnerability, he would have threw his ass in there with Anthony Joshua a long time ago. Okay? Counterpunch. He would have threw him in there a long time ago. Ortiz gave Jack Dempsey all he could handle. You guys are terrible. This joke is old as Ortiz. Andy's footwork was terrible. At younger Ortiz would have beat Andy yesterday, and yesterday I think Andy will lose to anyone that's top 7. Cairo Middleton. You know the irony of that fight last night is that Andy Ruiz showed the end of Andy Ruiz. See, it may very well be the end of Luis Ortiz. I will not argue that. In fact, I wouldn't want Ortiz to fight anybody in the top 10 anymore. If I was going to want him to fight anybody, it would be someone like Bermain Stavern, someone older, Chris Arreola, someone older, or Derek Chisora, someone older, someone more seasoned, someone that gives you a good show so you won't be there bored out of your mind watching two old geezers get it on. But someone that actually, is coming to fight. But other than that, Joe Joyce at this point, no. You know what I mean? Alexander Usyk, hell no. Tyson Fury, hell no. You know what I mean? None of those guys. Frank Sanchez, what are you, beating up your old Cuban uncle? Fuck no. Nothing like that. None of those top guys, Ergovic. Maybe Zhang. But even Zhang is fresher because I think Zhang is actually, and he's a 6-round fighter. Let's be real. Yeah, put him in there with Zhang because Zhang is at least at 40. 40s league only. Late 30s, 40 leagues only. Not early 30s. That's not fair to Ortiz whatsoever. But back to Andy. He showed that, somebody's going to fucking beat the next fight Andy Ruiz is in. Mark my words. He's going to lose. And he's going to lose bad. And he showed us that. Motherfucker, you couldn't get a 50-year-old motherfucker out of there. You're not going to be able to do anything with anybody else with some type of even playing field. That's it. Has anyone on here checked on AJ today? Fanboys, do your job. Hey, Kurt, what's your target weight loss? Congrats on your health journey thus far, brother. I would love to be 225. Just 220. I'm probably 236 right now. I would love to be about 225, 230. Nothing past 230. It's just when I do get in the late, like the early, like 222, 223, my legs start getting, it starts coming off my legs, and I like my legs. You know what I mean? And I don't like that. Your weight from your body comes from where it wants to come from, and it sucks. you know? Jonathan Jerome, counterpunch to you, brother. Hi from the UK. Can people hit that like button? Can we obey Jerome today and do what Jerome does? Let's hit that like button. Luis Ortiz is about to buy another passport and call himself Mike Ortiz and box for another 50 years on Honduras. No, because he'll do too good down there, knocking out motherfuckers, just setting them up with the left hand. And there are people who are going to put, wait a minute, that's Luis Ortiz. Don't lie to me. Ruiz versus Dillian, who you got? I don't know. I would go for Dillian. Why? Because like I said, anybody in the top 7 beats him. Anybody in the top 7 beats him. Because, or 10 rather. Dillian White, with that jab he has, he's going to bust Andy up. If Andy can't come in there and you know, do his thing, he's going to get knocked the fuck out. Tara Dectal coming in with that 20 dub on Mr. DeVille. But they offered Ortiz $7 million and AJ fought Klitschko. So I'm confused with what you're saying. Dave Allen fought Ortiz and it was terrible. No one scared of Ortiz. He fought C. Martin, southpaw. Usyk is just good southpaw or not. No, listen. Appreciate the super chat. Let me break it down to you. I'm not saying they didn't offer him the deal. I'm saying with knowing the stipulations about what happened with Ortiz versus Ortiz's management team fucked that up. They sabotaged him. And when Eddie should have known, well, look, it wasn't even Ortiz. He didn't care. He was just like, you know what? I don't care. On to the next, which he should have revisited that. And that would have been a great name on the resume, you know, for because Wilder, then they would have had another common opponent, right? They didn't tell Ortiz about it. They did next con, exactly. They didn't tell him. Him and Herman Calcedo were sitting there in the gym, and all this shit was going on around them, but nobody told him anything. Everybody was just like, you know what? He's got this with Wilder. Don't bother. Then they really fucked up and then went to social media about a deal that was supposed to happen between Ortiz and Joshua. Don't skip leg day. Karma Boxing MMA. I'm 6'2", bro. Let him fight Carlos Takam. That would be a good fight. I would like to see that. And honestly, I think Carlos Takam may get Ortiz because I think Carlos Takam is still pretty good. Kurt, you trying to build a prison with all these bars? That's it, baby. Mitch, you got it. I'm building a prison. Frank Sanchez will be good for Ruiz. Let's see that. Jason Smart. Frank Sanchez would box circles around Ruiz. And see, even last night, we saw Ortiz with that heavy-ass jab bust up Andy Ruiz's face. He could have done that whole fight, to be honest with you. He could have boxed Andy and fucked him up. And Andy wasn't advancing. I'm like, yo, you're going to let this old-ass dude... I'm like, dude, do something. Good advice about the joints, Kurt. I'm 50 and just use your own body weight now for exercise. Gavin Smith, absolutely. And you can be healthier than you ever was. In fact, at 50, believe it or not, depends on your lifestyle. You can be healthier at 50 if you could be at 20. Because, you know, at 20, you do a bunch of stupid shit. At 30, you're recovering from the 20s. And 40s, you're recovering from the 30s. 40s, you're recovering from the 30s. So at 50, you're like, cool, I'm here now. I know what to do, not to do. Let me preserve this body and let me keep it up and let me help it and make it stronger with what I still have. And I'm nowhere near 50, but the whole point is at 50, I want to have that type of mindset. So if you can do it at 40, you may be on the right track. That's my goal. Gillian KO's Ruiz with the left hook, baby. I think those guys will share left hooks, but I think Andy Ruiz is... See, here's the thing about that fight, though. Dillian White is going to try to knock out Andy Ruiz, but Andy Ruiz didn't want that fight either. So we can talk about a fight like that, and I think Dillian White would beat Ruiz, but I think Ruiz wouldn't fight him. You have to want to fight. They offered him $4 million and he called it a fucking lie. They're lying. Am in the 80s lying. No, they're not lying. You ducked a fucking 50-year-old man. That same, like 2 months later, he ducked Ortiz. And Ortiz was like, why are you ducking me? You know, and if I was Ortiz, I would say fuck Andy Ruiz. Fuck giving him respect, because I would have been like, dude, you ducked me for 2 years. But again, business model versus promotional tactics aren't Luis Ortiz's main front. Kurt, is Luis Ortiz trying to beat George Foreman's record and fight older than him? It's not about fighting older than him. It's just what George did at 45 years old, 2 years and 8 months older than Luis Ortiz is. He became world heavyweight champion. No, Ortiz is trying to make money for his family, bro. That's all he's trying to do. That's all he knows. That's all they know. You know, they ducked Ortiz. They all ducked Ortiz. A lot of people did. Hey, Kurt, Fury just called out AJ. Hey, let's see it happen. Let's see it happen. Ruiz lands an uppercut on White and it's over. That's it. But I mean, that's if, you know, because like Andy doesn't really throw a lot of uppercuts though. Hey, Kurt. Oh, okay, I got that one. Yeah, I got to check that out. If he just called out Anthony Joshua, he mentioned that like a day and a half ago in that same interview that I mentioned. He should still get a shot at the belt. Who is he? Kurt, he stood there with his belts. LOL. Kurt, how does Wilder's 2 wins over Ortiz look now that Ruiz has beat him? No, I mean, no, because here's the thing. I don't look at that like that, because we all know that Luis Ortiz at this point is not the fighter that he was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and definitely not 4 years ago when Deontay Wilder beat him. Deontay Wilder gets full credit. You got to give partial credit to Ruiz, if any at all. Because, see, here's the thing. Just because you step in the ring with a fighter, just because a fighter's on your resume, don't mean that you get him full credit, because you have to see what the stipulations were. What are the stipulations? Luis Ortiz was old and tired. He looked fucked up in the Charles Martin fight. He looked battered. He looked withered. And it was time to take him the fuck out. So Charles Martin, well, pretty much Andy Ruiz picked up where Charles Martin left off. That's how I look at that. That's not, you don't give Andy Ruiz credit for that shit. He should have knocked Luis out. And even if he would have done that, that would have been better than to fight him 12 rounds. That just showed you that Andy Ruiz is not even a finisher no more. Look what he did to Joshua in 19 versus what he's doing with old-ass Ortiz in 2022. What happened to Andy Ruiz? What happened to the Destroyer? What happened to him? I was shocked how bad Ortiz looked. Yes, Quan Big Guns. He's old, bro. I enjoyed Ortiz versus Martin fight. Great comeback. But it was one punch, and one punch showed you everything that you needed to see. But that saved Ortiz. Ortiz prolonged himself with the last thing a fighter has is his punching power. Shout out to Pterodactyl once again. Never been impressed with Ortiz. He's fought. He's fought a limited Wilder and got handled. I just don't see the fear factor. Wilder created the narrative because he hasn't fought no one. He tries to make his resume impressive. Listen, I understand what you're saying, and that is true to a certain degree. However, regardless of what Wilder attempted to do, it worked. Why? because people understood or feared what Luis Ortiz said. Like, people talk that shit. Oh, he's old, he's this, he's that. But in the long run, what did people do? They chose not to fucking fight him. So they talked and said all the old man jokes and, oh, he's old, he sparred with Jack Johnson and all that shit. But then when it came time, you want to fight him? No. No. No, not me. Me? Are we going to see Wilder versus Ruiz next year? Yes, we will. This is a real crossroads fight, and I felt whoever lost should go home. Well, Luis Ortiz should have been at home. He should have been at home. You know how Tara, you know what they said about him. So they already knew. You know, so, but see, Wilder now has to do exactly what I told you guys in the video I did earlier this morning. He has to go out and knock out Andy Ruiz because they both beat Ortiz. That's it. You know, and then when he knocks him out, fine. Then Wilder can say, I beat both of their asses. I knocked out Andy Ruiz, the first Mexican champion. He was real champion. He took out Joshua. So I whooped the man that whooped him. I knocked him out, something Joshua should have did when he fought him the second time. If he was such a hoe, I should have did it, and I beat him though. Balls. After Ortiz knocked out Jennings, he should have been in the line for a shot, and no one wanted to fight him. Ex-Con, it was complicated though, because he was up there with the WBA, but then he popped dirty, so that's nobody's fault but his. You got to remember that. So he popped dirty for something he was taking. But see, when you start taking drugs, bro, that's a clear sign that you know you're getting old. And he didn't want to admit that he's getting old, and he needed a little pick-me-up. And so he tested positive, and the WBA snatched him out of the rankings. So then he had to go in the route of the WBC, right? And then they put him back in with the WBA, right? And then when he did, because that was in 2016 when he popped dirty. 2017, I think they reinstated him with the WBA, and he became mandatory for the winner of Klitschko Joshua, okay? And after that fight, it was a rematch clause for Klitschko Joshua, but Klitschko decided to retire. By that time, the mandatory for on the IBF side, that the belt he took from I Walk This Earth Like a God, right? Charles Martin, that was Kubrat Pulev. So the IBF then, hey, we're pulling rank. You need to fight our boy before giving the shot to Ortiz. So by that time, he fought Pulev, but Pulev came out. He had had some type of fucked up chest injury, right? And after the chest injury, okay, then the replacement was Carlos Takam. He fought Carlos Takam and beat him. Okay? Then he was on to the next belt to fight Joseph Parker, you know, and that Joseph, but before that, he was trying to get Deontay Wilder. Wilder was never interested in an undisputed until Ruiz beat Joshua. Well, I mean, yeah, that was what it was. Ortiz is too old for this game this time. Powerhouse, I agree. He's too old. I think he's too old for the young fighters of today. Andy Ruiz was too damn old to be fighting old-ass Ortiz. And you ducked him 2 years, you fucking chicken shit coward bastard. That's what I think of Andy Ruiz. Because he could have fought him before. He didn't want to risk it because he didn't want to risk his position. Because if he gets beat by Ortiz, you can forget about the Joshua trilogy. Because he'll be known for that guy that got whooped by an old-ass guy that people made jokes about being old. And he knew he wouldn't be the creme de la creme on the PBC side. And maybe Al Heyman will do him just like Bob Arum did Andy Ruiz. Drop him like a bad habit. You guys know that's what happened to Andy Ruiz. He lost a split decision, and Bob Arum dropped him, which wasn't right, by the way. Bob had no reason to do Andy Ruiz like he did him. So I am glad that he decided to go with Al Heyman because he got the Joshua fight. He changed history. He changed the alignment of his stars. He's did well for himself. He got 2 fat-ass checks, 2 lifetime checks. I would love to be Andy Ruiz in 2019, right? I probably wouldn't do shit either. I probably would have lost my mustard too. You know what I mean? Because money will do that to you. Bars. Ortiz is one of the worst Cuban heavyweights. I doubt that, bro. I doubt that. Mike Perez? No, he's a lot better than Mike Perez. You know, there's a lot of fighters that he's better than in the heavyweight division. Come on, man. He's not the best by far, but he's not the worst. Stop. I feel that Vlad could have success if he came back. He could beat Foreman's record if the stars aligned, in my opinion. Maybe. That's what I'm interested in seeing. I'm interested in seeing what Vlad does. You know, but of course this war has to be over. You know, we don't know what's going on right now. I don't keep up with it no more, to be fair. Great thumbnail photo. Does Ruiz only have hands for AJ because he looks like he just wants to take AJ out? No, he looks like he just wants to fight AJ for that damn money because he knows it's $4 to $5 million damn dollars in a fight. That's why fighting Ortiz now makes all the sense. See, it's all about business. It's all about strategy. False Ortiz has a strong amateur background. He does. I mean, all Cubans have a strong amateur background. Is when they started. That's their creme de la creme. Who do you think wins, Miss Wilder or White? Ortiz is older than 40 something. Andy wants that money. Ex-con, counterpunch to you. Don't we all, though? Smooth Will. Kurt, you see how lovable and nice and respectable Wilder is with everyone now? Is it orchestrated now to be this pleasant even for him? Smooth Will. I don't think that's what that is. I think Wilder has always had respect for his own. And what I mean his own, PBC, Fox, Al Heyman stock. What he does is, he's always been cool with Andy Ruiz. The only time he went off on Andy Ruiz is when Andy Ruiz allowed Anthony Joshua to circle him in Saudi Arabia and box his face off. That's the only time. But then he didn't really just go hard on him. You know what I mean? He didn't go hard on him like he went on other fighters from other stables. So no, he's always been that way towards Al Heyman fighters. It's in the contract. That's what you do over there. Klitschko could fight Usyk. Usyk is signed with Klitschko's company after all. God of War. Vladimir will not fight Usyk. Usyk will no. He already kicked him out of immediate training for making him look bad. Mitch, to this day, Ortiz, even 33 for 5 years. 8 years from now, they ask Ortiz, how old are you? 43 años. 43 años. The thumbnail makes Ortiz look old. He is old. Fathertime beat Ortiz, not Andy Ruiz. Klitschko and Ortiz should fight. No, I give it to Klitschko. Because Klitschko, you know, he doesn't have bad legs like that. What did Ortiz do to get hated? LOL, I don't understand. He barely talks. The Brotherhood Sports. I love Ortiz. I have respect for Ortiz, but I think he fights for money. Unicat. That's all he's fighting for. He has to take care of his family. He has to take care of his girl with a certain rare condition. That's what he's doing it for. And that's all he knows. So he's going to do that until they tell him he can't do that no more. And that's real. What exactly was Ortiz's prime? Probably about 7 years ago. 8 years ago. Probably possibly longer than that. Because we're in 2022, right? His prime was probably about 2015. 14, 15. Charles Martin gave Ortiz hell until he KO'd. Yeah. And Charles Martin is like 35, 36 years old. I respect Ortiz. He came to the States too old. He did. The money is the Raso. It's sad because Ortiz has to take over the medical bills and he's too old to perform like he wants to. That's true. Renee Padilla, counterpunch to you, brother. God bless you, bro. The Mayhem. Yo, Kurt. What's your thoughts on Derek Chisora versus Ortiz? A fight as long as it lasts. But here's the thing about Chisora. If Chisora gets Ortiz hurt, Chisora's going to finish fucking Ortiz. Because he's a real ass fighter with real, true, bad intentions. Andy Ruiz, I don't know. Maybe he's just too nice, or he just doesn't have that killer instinct, or he wanted to carry him, or he was too apprehensive, or all the above. All of those are bad, you know? Because even if Ortiz hit him with something that scared him, that means he lacks heart. That means he lacks the desire to take risk. Because it looks like after he dropped him, and then Ortiz gets up and hit him with a left, he got scared. He got scared. He looked like, oh, yo, what's up with you? You know what I mean? You know you have the power to knock him out. Playing that shit safe. I wanted to show that I can box him. He didn't box anything. Andy didn't box nobody. That motherfucker don't box. He's not a boxer. He's a counterpuncher, combination volume puncher. That's what he is. Ortiz was dropped 3 times in this fight. He was. Ortiz should have immigrated to the UK. Medical bills are free over here. Shit, that's what I need to do. Ortiz needs carbon dating. Carbon dating. I think Andy felt the power of Ortiz and decided, nope, I'm not taking that risk. Maybe so. But Ortiz can hit, though, bro. Make no mistake about it. You better ask Charles Martin. But this is one thing you got to give Andy Ruiz credit for. That motherfucker got a chin. Because, I mean, he got hit. You seen the way he got hit. It was like, dude, what's keeping you up beside the fatness? The fatness kept Andy Ruiz up. The fatness kept Andy Ruiz on his feet. The fatness. The fatness is his strength. It makes him strong. The fatness, people. When you are old, your moves are slower and your stamina is poor, and your testosterone as well. How hard did he train? Ortiz came in career heavy. Dude, he's getting old. That's what happens when you get older. I believe Ruiz lost to AJ had affected him as well as they both had lost their killer instinct. Michael Buffer, counterpunch to you, bro. Counterpunch to you. Now, I'm going to do a video just for that, Michael Buffer, because that makes a lot of sense because it seems like Andy Ruiz ain't the same. Now, he got his chin back. He got that beard back. He got those whiskers back, but he's not the same cat. Bars. Yes, I'm building a prison with my bars that I'm dropping to you guys this morning. On this Labor Day, because I'm putting in labor. Charles is still looking the wrong way to this day. Bars, hot video. Kurt, did you think Ortiz should fight in the Mike Tyson League? Yeah, he should. He should. But I think if he wants to come fight Mike, he needs to come right. He needs to come correct and stop the bullshit. He needs to tell people his real fucking age. Realmente estoy 53 años. Mike Tyson, yo quiero una pelea contigo porque tú eres una leyenda. Entonces, yo quiero una pelea contigo. Estoy listo para lo que sea. I said in Spanish that I am really, says Ortiz, 53 fucking years old. I want to fight you because you're a legend. And I'm ready to fight and I'm ready for whatever. That's what I said in Spanish. In Spanish del Caribe. I can say it in Mexican Spanish as well. You know? That shot in the 12th, Kurt, Andy had got rocked and he went back to the ropes. He did. Andy coasted. This motherfucker coasted in the championship round. He pulled an Anthony Joshua. This motherfucker coasted and tried to hold. And Ortiz was like, yo, what the fuck you doing? Get off me. Andy didn't look good, bro. He didn't. And I guarantee you, this is my prophecy. Remember this. Andy Ruiz will lose his next fight if it's to somebody worth a shit. If it's for somebody that ain't old, that ain't a fucking bum, he's going to lose. If that's Deontay Wilder, Wilder's going to knock his fucking head off. He's going to crack that fucking coconut of a chin that he has, that he's known for since he had his fat back. And he's going to put his fat back on his back. Charles Martin looking the wrong way listening to God. Wow, you guys are crazy. Ruiz still hasn't been stopped yet. He still hasn't. But if Wilder knocks him out, Wilder's going to preach. I told y'all I'm going to rise like the phoenix of the ashes. I told y'all that something that my grandmother ordained me that I was in favor, and I took out a man that even Anthony Joshua ran from, that stopped AJ, A-Juice, and J. I stopped him anyway. I was the first to do it. I was the first to beat Ortiz when nobody wanted to get a piece. Boss, I was the guy that did that. So I'm ready for Tyson Fury for the 4th time. I'm ready for AJ, A-Juice, and J anyway. I'm ready to take on Joe Joyce if your ass is moist. I'm ready to take on everybody in the heavyweight division. It's my time. It's my time. Everybody want to do it. It's my time. I'm ready to put and create a crime. I want a body in the ring because the bronze bomber is back. And I'm ready to do it because that WBC belt ain't going nowhere. Those are the words of Deontay, the bronze bomber Wilder, when he knocks out Andy Ruiz for dismemberment. That's what Deontay Wilder will say to this day. Bars. Yeah. Pterodactyl, please do Effie Ajagba calling out AJ. Okay, here's Effie Ajagba. People, get your super chats ready. Donate, don't hate, participate. Let's go. What AJ? I want to fight Anthony Joshua. I want to fight Anthony Joshua. I tell you, he's not a good fighter. Anthony Joshua lacks heart. He's not Nigerian. I am from Nigeria. He doesn't show Nigerian heart. I show Nigerian heart. In Frank Sanchez, he didn't fight. He didn't fight me. He danced. He ran around the ring. But I wanted to fight him. He didn't want to fight me. He caught me with a good shot. He's not good. Anthony Joshua, he's not a good fighter. He's not Nigerian. Not like me. I fight for my Nigerian people. That's what I do. And I'm ready to fight again. Anthony Joshua, come to fight me in Nigeria if you're Nigerian. Your people Nigerian don't make you Nigerian. You're from Britain. You're from Great Britain. You're not Nigerian. You come to school in Nigeria, you're not Nigerian. Alfred Young got a little Mr. T in that monologue, Kurt. Man, that's what he is. That what he's supposed to. You guys understand Alfred Young. Appreciate that love, brother. Do you guys understand something? That Deontay Wilder was going to play Clubber Lang's son in an upcoming Creed movie. I don't know if that script is scrapped or the storyline changed, but yeah, you know, now I could understand Wilder putting on extra pounds for that because he's no longer an athlete. Like Floyd, you're not an athlete. You're not an athlete. Kyron Jack, here you cracking me up, man. When I see some stupid people betting for Ortiz, I told them that you will lose the money. Yeah, well, Unicat. I told you guys, anybody listen, Ortiz ain't gonna win unless he knocks Andy out. Now, he would have knocked out Andy Ruiz last year because he lacked the fat. When they cut the fat, they cut the strength. When they cut the strength, they cut the length. When they cut the length, they cut off the real deal for a guy that's not Holyfield. His name is Andy Ruiz. He's here to please. He said, fuck it, I'm eating again. Give me the Snickers. Right? Kurt, you should call out Ruiz. I'm not fighting with Andy Ruiz. There's no money in it. He's a PBC guy, remember? Yeah, look, here it is. I'm tired of Kurtville. He's always talking shit. I try to keep it positive. And I ask God to keep him out, his name, my name out of his mouth. But I'm ready to fucking kick his ass. He's always talking shit about me. Fuck him and AJ. They look like brothers. That's why Ruiz is fighting Wilder next 100. Double GS, absolutely. Let's go. I'm tired of Kurt DeVille. He's always talking shit. He's always making these fucking videos and imitating me. I don't talk like that. Yes, you do. Kurt, Fury just called out AJ. Now just sent it to you. Cool, Michael Buffer, appreciate it. I'll counterpunch it as soon as we stop going live. But we got a lot of more to do, man. More coming at you. I wonder how Wilder versus Ajagba would play out because they both the same kind of fighters. Wilder. Well, I don't know. I don't know because see, I think Ajagba is how Wilder used to fight. Wilder was fast at the right hand delivery. That's what made him so successful. Bums or not, if he hits you with that shot, your ass is going to sleep. You know, do a blue blood impression. Okay, we need to drop these super chats. We need to drop these super stickers. We need to join the membership, which I got my whole turkey vacation live on there. So you guys, if you guys are members, you got that. So he said blue balls. It's your boy, Blue Bud Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So the two-time heavyweight challenger, Luis King Kong Ortiz, twice beaten by Deontay Wilder, the former WBC heavyweight superstar boxer champion, was defeated by Andy Ruiz. And my opinion, he was defeated by Andy Ruiz due to Father Time, okay? Because Andy Ruiz showed his vulnerability in there. He showed fast hands. He did show that he has his chin back, but Ortiz also showed grit. But unfortunately for the two-time champion challenger, he didn't have enough, too little, too late, okay? So that being said, Andy Ruiz, with his faster hands, the younger man, came in to take the fight. It was lulls in the fight, and Ortiz, I think, did enough, all he could, to keep Andy at bay. But you can see that Father Time was in the way of Luis Ortiz trying to get back to the WBC platform, okay? So Andy Ruiz dropped him again, and down he goes. That's what happens when you get older. Unfortunately, this is boxing. So Andy Ruiz did tire out, I feel, in the 12th round, but it just shows you that Ortiz was stronger than people thought he was going to be, even at his age of 43 and counting, okay? And it shows you that Deontay Wilder was just as bad, because Wilder, unlike Andy Ruiz, was able to stop the Cuban sensation and dangerous opponent in the heavyweight division, okay? You guys, tell me what you think. Shout out to the LDBC. Shout out to Black Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Kirk, can you do Joe Joyce? Fury has always called out AJ, but when he had a chance to fight him, he backed out. Do you think Davis versus Cruz 2 is next? Probably so. They're going to milk that shit because Cruz looked too good last night. You see that knockout? Pterodactyl FA impression was fire. He's not Nigerian. He's not Nigerian. Bluebud gives entire resume, height, reach. Yeah. 6-inch leg length, 83-inch arm length, 254 pounds in his last fight. Nose has 23 centimeters and a half. Hair length, he has now grew his hair out okay, shaved beard, and Wilder coming in with 84-inch reach with 238 pounds former fight, 219 pounds of muscle, and he has also 32-inch waist. I'm like, what the fuck? Precise, my boy. Blue Blood precise. Gotta love him. Shout out to Blue Blood Sports TV. Ellie Setback reporting. Yeah, man. Ellie Setback, he's everywhere, dude. I'm like, dude, wait a minute. How was you in Saudi Arabia and fucking Las Vegas? Like 2 hours later. Ellie Setback, he'll be like in Saudi Arabia. We're in Saudi Arabia reporting. Then like a fight happening like fucking 8-9 hours away time-wise. He's there. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. This is Ellie Setback just coming in reporting. Man, you too funny. Blue Blood. Kurt, who wins? Luis Ortiz. Goa. versus Kubrat Pulev. That'd be a good fight. I don't know. I think they're both tough. I think, I don't know. That's a good fight though. But Pulev he's in that league. He's in that league. Yes, Kurt, been here 10 minutes, just picking my boy up from school. Tony Lyons kind of punched to you. How about a Jeff Mayweather impression? I haven't really heard Jeff a lot. I'm going to spark the middleweight Dalsa out with the British bomb of the Gypsy King. Then I will go flatten the bodybuilder like a pancake. I'm a Spartan. Tyson Fury. Listen, I was listening to Tyson, man. I was rolling. I was rolling today, man. That's like one of the first things, because I had to watch my Game of Thrones this morning, right? So I got up and everything, got ready, taking my walk, decided to go live with you guys. I'm glad we have a good crowd out here right now. And I heard Tyson Fury. Shout out to my girl Farhana, and she sent me what I've already covered, but I heard it again and it was fucking hilarious. Because Tyson Fury was like, Usyk, middleweight. I will crush you, middleweight. You tried to call me out after the fight. I will show you someone with 20 stones. I will show you that I will crush you, middleweight. You run off like a scary pussy bitch. I will crush you. Man, middleweight. You tried to run off. Tyson Fury, it would be funny as shit. Tyson Fury comes out there and mows over Usyk. That shit would be so sad, but it would be hilariously sad. Because Tyson Fury, I told you, you fucking bum. I am the best. I am the Gypsy King. I will come in and destroy everything. Bars. How Kurt DeVille says. What the fuck does that mean anyway? Bars. Bars for what? Bob Arum impression. Yeah, this is the last one I'm going to give you guys of Bob Arum. I told you that Anthony Joshua is a complete bum because he was beaten by another bum, Andy Ruiz. I used to promote Andy, but after he got beat up and walked around like a fucking Snell and Joseph Parker, I got rid of him and said, fuck off. Andy Ruiz, he gave me my money, I kicked him in his fat back, and he got out of the fucking door. I don't have any regrets. Anthony Joshua's a bum. Eddie Hearn destroyed his career. He's a bodybuilder like Tyson Fury says. And I don't want to hear shit about Andy Ruiz. He looked like shit against a Cuban that's 138 years old. Luis Ortiz, he was 38 when I was 5. And I'm fucking 90 years old. The son of a bitch went 12 rounds with a fucking guy that has great-great-grandkids. And this son of a bitch is in the line for a heavyweight shot. He's a fucking bum. And Wilder's gonna knock his ass out of the commission because he's a bum. He's a bum too. Wilder will mop fucking Andy Ruiz and eat him for breakfast, pick up his head, eat it like a 10-pound ham, and that's what'll happen. Fucking Andy Ruiz. That's fucking guy. I fucking kicked him out. He was eating a fucking chicken sandwich burger with a fucking Twix. I said, could you stop eating while I fucking fire you, you fat bastard? All these tattoos, victorious. You're fucking nefarious. That's what you are, you fucking fat bastard. That's what you are, you son of a bitch. Oh, man. Helene is going to give Wilder a problem. Yeah, he probably will. Alfred Young, Jamie Lannister voice, Usyk to Fury. Are you mad? Are you mad, man? I love Cersei. She's my soulmate. I will go to hell for her. Fury. Victorious. Kurt, to this day, Fury said his toughest fight was a blown up cruiserweight Steve Cunningham. That's still surprising to this day. Well, yeah, it is, but it is what it is. It is what it is, man. And that just shows you what will be and what will be problematic to Fury, and will probably be his highest test of to date. Fury might not admit that, but that probably will be the date. Fighting somebody like Usyk, that would probably be the guy that will be his Achilles heel. Maybe, maybe not. We just got to see. You know? Oh, Joseph Parker. Beat Joe Joyce. I can beat Joe Joyce. I think Joe Joyce is a good fighter, but I don't think he's better than me. I just think he's kind of slow. I wanted this fight. Frank Warren shook my hand, and he didn't want to give me the money. So I said, "Where's the money?" I think he should calm down. You know, I think Joe Joyce, he's a good fighter, but I think he's old. I think he did whatever he did too long. But I'm gonna do it for the Kiwi people. I want my money. Kurt, if Fury takes another tune-up, do you think it's to push the fight back even further? Well, no, I don't think so. I think that's Tyson Fury's balance to keep him polished. So I'm for that. Because if Usyk's not ready, what is he going to do? Sit around to wait till Usyk's ready? No. He needs to fight again this year. So he could be no excuses. So he could be fresh. He could be sharp, on edge, where he needs to be. How did you beat me? How did you beat me? I'm hot. I'm like, damn, AJ. Who the fuck happened to AJ? Who's this guy? Who's this fucking guy? Fucking AJ. How did you beat me? Skills win fights. How did you beat me? I'm 18 stone. Yeah. AJ. Yeah. Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. You imagine some cats in New York talk about AJ if that shit would have been in New York. That pussy got beat. Yo, that pussy got beat. That big pussy. Yo, they fucking got him big. He was big, 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 bro. He fucking hit AJ. AJ just stood there like a fucking mannequin, kid. Yo, it was fucking wild. This motherfucker sit there, eyes swelled up like a pussy and shit. Yo, he was straight bugging. Who did you think AJ should fight next? Otto Vailene. I think he should fight Otto Vailene. New Yorkers have no compassion. They don't give a shit. Yo, this pussy, we seen him riding bikes with a swole face. Fat ass Ruiz fucking hit him in the face. You know? Will AJ accept Fury's new fight offer he dropped an hour ago? I'm not sure, but this is what I'm going to do. Let me counterpunch that, guys, just for you guys. I'm having fun, but I got to get back to work. I just wanted to touch bases with you to discuss Luis Ortiz versus Fathertime. Fathertime will always beat someone eventually, every time. Pterodactyl, Busta Rhymes' voice, bigging up Crawford. Big it up. Yo, my boy Crawford. Yo, he's going to fucking rip him up, son. He's going to rip Errol Spence. Mr. Ed, son. He's going to rip up Mr. Ed, son. Big teeth having motherfucker. Kurt, get on Fury's new vid. I will. Pterodactyl. Appreciate the love, you guys. Appreciate it. Everybody, God bless you on this Labor Day. We're going to make a great day today. Check out the next videos. It's coming at you. I'm promising to go live. I want to do 4 or 5 lives a week. I know I've been slacking. Lifestyle, KD, you know. But we had fun today, man. I had fun with you guys. Show some love. Drop some super chats. I'll come on next time. I know I'll probably be on tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. I have a travel day, so I'm definitely going to be on. I might travel at night, so it's going to be earlier than this, more than likely. So we're going to bring it on in. But you guys be safe. God bless you. And everybody has been Counterpunched. Stay tuned for the new videos coming at you. Peace.